Hey Jay, how you doing?
What's up, Steve?
Hey, Jay.
Just the two of us right now. Bob should be joining us at some point. Evan is out because he's doing stuff,
He's
and
stuffed up.
We don't need Bob.
Nobody
Oh,
wanted
yeah.
to join us.
Well, it is Friday the 13th, so
It is Friday the 13th.
He could be doing all kinds of
Which
stuff.
means absolutely
That
nothing.
explains everything.
What do you mean? It means nothing. You guys know where the Friday the 13th comes from?
Yes.
Does chat know?
Trust
Yep.
me, probably you.
Where does
Let's
it
see
come
what
from?
chat knows.
Let's see what chat knows. On Fridays, we wear pink. That's true. Here's a couple things that you're not supposed to do on Friday the 13th. Breaking a mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which is, I guess, you shouldn't do that anytime, I guess. Well, unless you're throwing it out, maybe. Walking under a ladder. You guys ever walk under ladders?
All the
Never.
time.
All the time? Never? That seems just like so you don't get a hammer dropped on your head. Spilling salt.
Sure.
Jay, do you throw salt over your shoulder after you spill salt?
Never.
Never. Just crossing paths with a black cat.
Now, what if you own a black cat?
Black cat.
I owned a
Ooh.
black cat for the last 12 years. He passed
Yeah.
away recently, but
Yeah. So how unlucky? Well, how unlucky were you prior to that? Maybe seems like your luck was
no
fine, right?
difference.
No
Yeah.
difference. Okay. Stepping on cracks. Break your mother's back.
I don't even notice cracks anymore, so I don't know.
Do you carry a lucky charm by chance?
What
No.
do you consider a lucky charm?
It says 4-leaf clovers, horseshoes, or rabbit's feet.
Horseshoes.
One of those.
People walk around with horseshoes.
That's a good point. Don't you put horseshoes over the door or something?
Yeah,
Just
just
like
put it
a
over
thing?
the door.
Lucky charms are also a cereal. You walk around with a
Mhm.
pocket full of cereal.
I mean, sometimes.
I eat Lucky Charms sometimes.
There you go. That's pretty lucky. Knocking on wood. Do you guys do this? I do this kind of as a joke, but I still kind of do it. So I don't know if that.
I never picked up that particular.
Never picked
I don't
Yeah.
knock on wood.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, well, anybody else? Are there any in Poland? Those are all daily superstitions. Not all.
Well, they are here too. Those are just superstitions, but
You know what I don't do on Friday the 13th? I do not eat dogs or cats.
yeah,
Yeah. I don't think a lot of people do.
neither do I. Or tigers or orangutans.
Yeah. Anything else? No idea where it comes from. It seems like people don't know where it's coming.
Well, why don't you tell us, Ian, since you're so well
Well,
aware?
let's see if Steve knows. Steve was adamant that he knew. So where does it come from? Without you looking it up? Wait.
Now I'm looking it up.
No. Okay, I'll tell you. So, well, 13. Why is that number auspicious? Let's say 13th
It's about the Bible.
apostle was apparently Judas. He was
Yeah.
the 13th guest, supposedly.
Yep.
I don't know if this is all like backfilling or like weird mixture of cultures. And then Friday, he was apparently crucified on Friday, right?
That's correct.
It's Good Friday, so Friday the 13th.
Well, he died on Friday.
Died on the Friday. Yeah, died on Friday. That's true.
And he rose on Sunday.
Wait, so was he crucified the day before?
I think didn't he live for like 3 days?
So okay,
Or
so
2 days. It was a while. He lasted a while.
Interesting. I don't think I even knew that.
That's why they had to stab him in the side, with the spear.
Right. So he's crucified on like a Tuesday.
And did you know the soldier that stabbed him, some of Jesus's blood got on him, and apparently he turned into a superhero or something?
What?
Something happened to that guy. Lazarus? I don't remember.
Oh, right. Isn't he what is he? Does he come back from the dead? Chat. Obviously, we're not good Roman Catholic boys.
What's the question?
About Lazarus? Whoever stabbed
Lazarus had nothing to do with stabbing Jesus.
Yeah, it was a Roman
soldier.
Centurion.
Yeah,
that got the blood.
That was just to make sure that he was dead, right? Just poke him in the liver a little bit with the spear.
All right, here we go. According to the Christian tradition, the soldier who stabbed Jesus during the crucifixion is often as identified as Longinus.
Longinus.
So the Bible itself doesn't.
Longinus.
It's in Gospel of John. It mentions that a Roman soldier pierced Jesus' side with a spear, and blood and water flowed out, confirming his death. See, I like my idea that he turned into a superhero.
Yeah.
He can fly. Deal with it.
Apparently his sight was cured.
Apparently Wikipedia has a lot of ideas about what Friday the 13th comes from, but I'm wondering if Wikipedia is correct in this assessment, because there's it says one source mentioned for the unlucky nature of 13 is a Norse myth about the 12 gods having a dinner party in Valhalla, and the trickster god Loki, who was not invited, arrived as the 13th guest, and then they got drunk and somebody died and blah blah blah. So,
well, the thing is, there's a lot of 12 in just culture, like 12 months of the year. Again, 12 apostles. Right. Etc. And so 13 is just it's a odd prime number that throws everything out of balance.
Sure.
Doesn't have all the symmetries that 12 has. So people don't like it. It's interesting.
It is weird. There's some other, there's a book that popularized Friday the 13th of 1907. T.W. Lawson's.
That guy.
That freaking guy. Some cite the arrest of the Knights Templar on Friday the 13th in 1307 by the officers of King Philip IV of France as the origin. So there's a lot of probably backfilling that, Friday the 17th in Italy, apparently. Is it not the 13th? This gives bad luck. I've never known that. 17th in Roman numerals is XVII. By shuffling the digits of the number 1, you can get Latin, blah, blah, blah. I have lived, implying death at present. Okay. An omen of bad luck. Interesting.
You have to go through a lot of procedures there to get to that.
Yeah, it's a little complicated to come up with that bullshit.
Yeah. In Italy, 13th is considered lucky number, although some people may consider 13 an unlucky number as well due to the
Americanization. Yeah, we poison them.
Sorry, Italy. Yeah, that with Alfredo sauce too. We poisoned them. I'll take a baker's dozen. That's true. A baker's dozen is good though.
Yeah,
that's a good 13.
You know where that comes from?
Well, no, what's that? Just
absolutely.
Yeah, baker's dozen is 13,
right?
And it comes from I can't remember which country it was. It was England or France or one of those countries. They mandated that, if you were going to sell a dozen loaves of bread, the cumulative weight or whatever of all of that bread had to equal a certain minimum to prevent bakers from ripping off their customers by throwing in small loaves or something. So bakers didn't want to get fined for this, so they would throw in an extra one just to make sure they were over the limit.
Wow.
That was the baker's dozen.
It's from medieval England.
Yeah.
There was other things going on as well, because whenever bakers if there was a shortage of wheat and they couldn't get flour and stuff, they would use other stuff.
Like sawdust.
Yeah, they would use pretty much anything that would work. So they came up with these regulations, to make sure that there were standards in place and everything. But you got to think back, when you go back to medieval England, I mean, we have such a unbelievably bottomless reservoir of food today. Massive variety
for developed countries. There's still a lot. There's a lot of food insecurity around the world. So
of course.
Not let our American bias show too much. But yeah, you are correct. For the developed, wealthy nations, food shortage or food insecurity is not a problem for most people. It still is for some people, even in this country. But that is true. But the other thing is we're also spoiled because up until about 100 years ago, 110, 120 years ago, around that period of time, eating food was always a crapshoot. I mean, most food was, past its what we would consider to be past its expiration date. And you know what I mean? Because you didn't have refrigeration, for example, and there was no standardization, and people would try to sell gangrenous meat or whatever they get away with. They would adulterate things. There was just, no standards until the government came in and said, all right, now we're actually going to have and enforce standards of food quality and safety and whatever. And that transformed, the food industry. And now we just take it for granted. But, imagine 150 years ago, you go to the butcher to buy meat. Who the hell knows what you're going to get? That's why things like ketchup were developed. There were sauces to cover the stank of the rotting meat,
Right.
And those early sauces before ketchup were pretty nasty too.
Yeah, but they were better than rotting meat.
Yeah, I think they were mushroom based actually, like the original ketchup. I've seen
a lot of fish. There's a lot of fish based.
Right, fish sauce. Oh yeah,
fish sauce.
Rome had garum. If anybody watches Tasting History, that guy made garum, I think, which is it's like fish sauce, but it's the Italian Roman version. Apparently, also I was looking this up, but there is a bit of a myth surrounding the rotten meat and what they used to do to it, and specifically spices. Apparently, like the sauces, maybe if they got cheap enough, but apparently spices were obviously very expensive back then in the day. Definitely. So if you already had rotten meat, the likelihood that you had spices to cover it was also unlikely.
Yes, that's correct.
So like
salt, during medieval times, salt was literally more expensive by weight than gold.
Yeah.
Pepper as well. Pepper was a rare luxury.
Yeah.
Now again, like we take it for granted, but yeah, those were, and salt was really valuable because you could preserve food with it, not just make it taste better. And that was huge. The whole preserve, especially without pre-refrigeration. Imagine getting through the winter without refrigeration.
Yeah, unbelievable.
You had to, but by the time November's rolling around, you had to have 3 months of food that would last for 3 months. You know what I mean? In your larder. So salt was really valuable. That's why things like make cheese was incredible, because cheese is basically milk that lasts for months.
Right.
Nutritionally speaking, jarring was huge, and then eventually tinning when they developed it. As well, jerking meat was very common. Drying, smoking, pickling, all these things were developed to preserve food so that you could survive the winter.
And some of it ended up tasting good.
Some of it actually ended up, the stuff that tasted good, they kept doing that. The other stuff,
So speaking of stuff that tastes good, Ian. So for my birthday, my family took me to Arthur Avenue, which is in the Bronx. The Bronx. I was calling Ian up the day before because we were looking for a restaurant, and Ian is he's a gourmand. He's a foodie, and his dad has got Italian connections apparently.
Right. Well, he is Italian, but also his very Italian connections.
Yeah, like his dad knows a guy that speaks only Italian, basically. Right?
Well, that's true, but yeah.
So they helped us figure out what restaurants were open, because we happened to be going when like all the restaurants were closed for the summer. Anyway, so we walk into a cheese and meat shop, right?
Oh, nice.
And this is one of those places where there's just some old school Italian guy with a white smock on behind
barely spoke English.
And
it's a me.
So we're sampling some of the cheeses, and we sample the Parmesan. Jesus Christ, Steve.
Oh
yeah.
It is.
Bob's here. Hold on. The Parmesan, Bob.
That Parmesan cheese was the best Parmesan I've ever had in my entire life.
It was dope, man.
Exquisite. Awesome. So Steve bought both of us a big hunk of it, and I'm slowly eating most of it myself.
It was like a big wheel he cut, or what was it?
We just got a big 2-pound chunk,
I lost Bob. Yeah, okay. That's awesome.
But it is amazing how much better it tastes than like store-bought Parmesan cheese. And having said that, I love pretty much all Parmesan cheese, like of any kind or whatever. And there are some that you like. I prefer the shredded, and I have like a few brands that I prefer that you can get in the supermarket that are really tasty. But this was like an order of magnitude more delicious than anything that you could get like as a prepackaged in the store. It's just amazing.
Yeah, so you would think like the process of making Parmesan, it would be, I don't know. I just always thought that there wasn't that much variation. Like they
I'm sure. Yes, it's how much salt do they add? But there's so many different aspects to the process. How long they age it, how they age it.
Well, anyway, I'm glad we stumbled on that, Steve. I'm glad that I got to try something that good, And
Parmigiano Reggiano. Yeah, and you have to, I think, legally, at least from Italian exports, they have to stamp it, and it comes from the specific region, right?
Yeah.
Like they're very, very adamant about that.
Yeah, it's like cheddar.
Right.
I always love watching, I like watching cheese making and bread making videos, and because cheese making is very interesting. There's lots of different things that they do. But when they make a wheel of Parmesan, it's pretty damn straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
Like it isn't like lots of different things. I mean, there is a very, there's a set process.
They do something.
It's not complicated though. It's very understandable what they're doing. I know that like the really
Romano, get out of here with your Romano. Romano's fine if you get really good quality. Like if you make cacio e pepe, that's with a certain specific kind of
there's
Romano.
uses for Romano, but like you can't.
But Parmesan, in my opinion, blows away Romano. Our mother famously will not eat Romano.
Yeah.
And if she goes to, sometimes you go to a restaurant and you ask for Parmesan, and they often give you Romano because it's cheaper. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate them when they do that.
Yeah, she always bitches them out whenever they try to swap out Romano for Parmesan at a restaurant.
That's right. Good for her. That's good.
Have you guys ever heard of something called hardtack?
Yes.
Yeah.
So hardtack,
that's very interesting.
For those who don't know, was a food that they developed. I think it was specifically developed for sailors, right? For people that in England, people that were professional sailors.
There it is.
So here we go. It's a dense
from the
biscuit.
Civil War.
Yeah.
So what they do is they bake it twice,
like wood,
and it is very plain, and it is super hard. And if made correctly, it can last a very, very long time.
Which is the idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the idea. So what they would do is they'd have these barrels filled with hardtack that would go on the boats, and then if the sailors were lucky, they would supplement it with other stuff if the ship had it. But that was a big staple food item for these workers that are working really hard hours. Like
what was it made? What's the ingredients?
99% flour.
Yeah, it's just you bake it.
Just to dry it out. Yeah, because water is the killer, right? Water is the thing that makes things go bad. The drier something is, the longer it will last.
So that one on the bottom there, Ian, that round one.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good representation. Oh boy.
It says hardtack can last up to 25 years.
Make sure you shut the door, babe.
Whoa.
25 years apparently, and be edible.
How nutritious? I mean, how long could you really live on it though?
You can live off of it.
I mean, flour.
Yeah, but it gives you scurvy.
Scurvy. That's true. Yeah.
Look, nutrition back then, Bob, was not good. They didn't have a varied diet like we have access to a varied diet.
Yeah, just survive. They were in survival mode basically all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And on board a ship, forget about it.
You could live. Is it true that you could live off of honey? It's got enough of what you need to basically.
I'm skeptical of that.
I don't believe that for a second.
I was a little too.
I would be puking after the third day. I mean, forget it.
From what I understand, like if the best one-stop shopping food
potatoes, Steve?
is potatoes, except for protein. If you have potatoes and any source of protein, you're good.
Look at the first result. Can you live off? People cannot live off of honey alone.
It's basically sugar, Bob. How could you live off of honey?
Yeah.
But what else is there? But what else is in there? I don't know what.
I think it lasts almost forever, right?
Just freaking.
Right, if preserved, right? If it, it could crystallize. But honey has been known to last very, very long time.
Like the water.
Because it's bees dry it out so that that's their food store. That's their cheese, right?
That's true.
That's their hardtack.
That's their cheese.
You could probably live off of cheese. I mean, it wouldn't be good for your arteries, but
cheese. has some
Pretty
good stuff in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have
I love
potatoes and
cheese.
cheese and potatoes.
Oh
you know,
hell yeah! Nah,
Yeah.
hey,
because you get protein from the cheese, and pretty much everything else from the
See,
potatoes.
the Irish were doing it.
I mean,
right.
one of my
Yeah.
favorite
Beef, meat, and
meals.
potatoes, right? That's why you say meat, potatoes. That's pretty much what you need.
I could live off a charcuterie board. I mean, I love
Oh my god.
meats and cheeses and vegetables and fruits. Oh god,
That's what I had for lunch today. I had a little bit of leftover chicken from last night with some sourdough cheese. That was it. That was my lunch.
Yeah,
Have you guys seen on TikTok, Jay? Maybe you've seen it. The Balkan Breakfast.
yeah.
You've seen it?
I've
Yeah.
not seen
Balkan-
that. What is it?
Balkan breakfast.
Balkans, like people from the Balkans. Apparently,
Yeah.
this is a very popular meme that's going around on TikTok. But apparently, Balkan breakfast is basically a charcuterie, and a couple of these guys blew up because of it. Let me see if I can't. Why can't it go there?
Meat and cheese.
Basically, it's like this guy especially.
Meat,
is like,
cheese, bread.
Acımdan öldüm la bugün hiçbir şey yemedim. Bir Adana kebap.
the
Acımdan öldüm bugün hiçbir şey
most
yemedim.
popular one.
He'll do this
Jose.
anywhere.
Anywhere, like just on the ground, squishes up a tomato and then eats a pepper. There's another one I gotta find that's like more.
I don't understand why
very
people find
Balkan.
this so fascinating. This is like this.
This guy, the Balkan dad.
This
I love
fucking
this guy.
guy.
This fucking guy. He's very funny. Like, here it is, Balkan breakfast. You know, it's like all different things, and there's so many videos on TikTok right now of people just eating like this. This is actually more complicated than I want to find. I gotta find the good one. You just brought it up, and so it popped in my head. I'll find it.
Okay, it's stuff
but-
that you.
There's a specific thing. There's a specific where he's like, oh, this guy. This is the guy.
This is the guy.
This is the freaking guy over here. The way he eats it, I think, is what's iconic. Just
Ian,
because.
when I snap my fingers.
Okay.
So while you're doing that,
Go
a couple of comments flew by that I wanted to address.
Go ahead,
One
do
from
it.
a while ago, the guy said people used to drink alcohol for food because it's safer and it's like almost its own. The alcohol itself is a preservative, and that is
Right.
largely true. Like again, in the Middle Ages, people would drink beer, ale. That was a staple part of their diet because first of all, it's safer than straight water because the alcohol is kind of a preservative, and it would have a lot of the hops and barley and stuff in it, right? It would be a thick stew almost, you know.
Right.
It wasn't just like clear liquid like we drink today. It was a significant source of nutrition and calories that would keep. It was preserved by the alcohol.
I think the alcohol content was low enough where you wouldn't be basically.
Yeah, you weren't getting drunk every day. It was just enough to prevent
Sanitize it though.
to sanitize a little bit.
I'd be curious, Steve. I'd like to ask chat. Everybody type in as simple as possible. What did you have for breakfast today?
Mhm.
And we'll compare. We'll see because there's people from other countries listening as well.
All right.
Here, look at
While
this.
while people are doing that, the other comment I wanted to say, someone noted that I'm wearing a T-shirt today.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So here is a clue as to why that is. So usually I'm wearing a button-down shirt. That means that I was working basically up to the show, right?
Yeah.
That's my work shirt. You know, I was probably in like a Zoom grand rounds or meeting or whatever. If I have time though, I work out in the between work and the live stream. So that if I'm wearing a T-shirt, that means I worked out that afternoon,
Nice.
like I did today.
Getting those gains. Or so. Sorry. Anyway, so here's this video, or not video. There's a website that recreated some of that medieval ale.
Yeah.
So it's like definitely more viscous or
Viscous.
thick.
Yeah.
You know, like that is
Yeah.
a little different than what we assume, you know, ale to be nowadays. Okay, here's this guy. Now this is what's popping. You know, the Balkan breakfast. It's just like a mixture of just like ingredients, essentially.
So peppers, tomatoes seem
Peppers,
to be a theme.
tomatoes, cucumbers, little cheese, little bread.
Cucumbers are great.
Yeah.
I could just eat a whole cucumber.
Sure. I mean, it's a very fresh kind of breakfast, but apparently the people from the Balkans say this is legit. This is like what their
This is
uncles
what they
would do.
Did you just
You
eat
know?
a hot pepper?
Just vegetables.
Just vegetables, just going to town.
What's
Like,
in that? What's in the bag?
rabbit.
Is that feta or
I
something?
think it's probably a cheese or like a farmer's cheese of some sort. This is just what he does. This is like his thing. It's got 4 million views.
Just vegetables. Screw that.
I don't know. I mean, cheese, and
Raw
bread,
vegetables.
You know what I mean,
This guy's a pretty good eater here. I can eat faster than him, but he's doing okay.
yeah, he's crushing.
And bread.
And
Hey,
bread.
you know.
You know, and a little orange
cheese.
juice or something. I don't know. Anyway, that's what's been popping up on
All right,
TikTok.
that's fine. That's a
it's
perfectly
fine.
cromulent breakfast.
That's right.
So
Hey,
scam.
somebody said that it wasn't the alcohol that made it safer; it was the fact that it was boiled. That was
Okay.
legal. Is that? I hadn't heard that.
That I hadn't heard. It was assumed it was the alcohol.
Yeah.
Is this a mukbang? Yeah.
Maybe it's both. It was boiled or whatever, and the alcohol kept it from getting reinfected with crap. You know.
Somebody said the only thing is that guy was only 25. Okay, that's fair.
So a quick scan. Lots of people ate oatmeal for breakfast.
Yeah,
Oatmeal's a good breakfast. There was periods of time where like that was my breakfast.
Yeah, I like overnight oats.
I hate the overnight oats. I tried that, Jay, when you on your recommendation. It's like freaking cardboard. I just
you didn't make it right. That's probably it.
Yeah, right. It's
lots of protein bars type thing. Someone named something from another country that I don't recognize. I'm trying to find it, but it was definitely.
I had Cheerios, but you know what? If you like oatmeal, this is the oatmeal to get. The Irish oatmeal, the one in the can, the tin, like this one.
Yeah,
it's got much a better texture and stuff like.
And what is it though? So is it dry? Like you have to
you do have to cook it for like half an hour. It is not instant. You know,
that's the thing. I kind of ran out of time in the morning to make oatmeal, so now I do quicker things. So what I've been doing recently this is on Kara's recommendation, is drinking those power shakes. You know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Those are pretty good. They're like 150 calories.
I tried the brand that she recommended, and I don't like it. I like Muscle Milk better than.
I don't like the chocolate, but the vanilla is really good. She likes the chocolate. I think the vanilla is great.
So somebody said Metbrocken.
Metbrocken.
Please tell us what that is, because that word doesn't mean anything to me.
Met
METT. BRO with an umlaut.
Yeah. Okay.
TCHEN.
Now, oatmeal is not porridge. Oatmeal is made from oats. Porridge, I think, is made from wheat, isn't it? Oatmeal is literally oat. It's just oat flakes that you put in water and boil.
This is a raw meat, bro. They going raw.
Oh no shit, huh? I mean, it's got to be. Is it aged? Is it aged meat though?
Raw minced pork. I don't know.
Damn,
a lot of people do that tartare. You know what I mean? It's like
I don't feel good about eating. Like
I've done it once before.
In the United States, when you get meat like that, what do you call that? Like it's like we call it hamburger meat, right? But when you get minced meat like that, and you buy it, they say that you should not eat it raw because there could be a lot of germs in it.
Yeah,
sure.
So porridge, by the way, could be any grain. Apparently, it could be
ground beef. Thank you.
So it's
it could be legumes or farro, barley, quinoa, oats, corn, rice, wheat, whatever. Anything. It's just that you make it into this sort of liquidy kind of gruel. You know. Whereas oatmeal is specifically oats, and I do like. Somebody mentioned cream of wheat. I love cream of wheat. I also have gotten
that shit.
I've gotten into grits.
Yes,
but here's the thing.
Okay, sweet or cheesy?
Shut the door.
Sweet. I like the sweet grits, but I like it. I had it when I was in Atlanta.
Yeah,
and it is true that in the South they make grits that are good, and they spoiled me. I can't eat grits north of the Mason district.
No,
it's terrible. It's like I'm always disappointed. Although I did meet somebody who was living in Connecticut, who's from the South, who has a restaurant, and they say they make genuine Southern grits.
This can't be happening right now.
I haven't had a chance to try them yet, and yet it is happening, Jay.
And yet it is. You need to electrify the door handle.
Yeah, Southern grits.
When my kids were younger, they'd come in here and they'd sing.
It was
and
cute.
They'd be cute. And now they just come in like I'm not doing anything, and they make demands on me.
Yeah, where's your wallet?
Yeah.
What's in your wallet?
What's in your wallet? Sweet grits though, not cheesy grits, or do you?
No, I don't like cheesy.
I prefer the sweet grits.
Sweet grits are better in the morning.
I just put in
the morning, but
non-caloric sweetener in there, so I don't increase the calories. But you could also throw other stuff in it. But I like it just straight, just grits.
Yeah,
it's really good. Southern grits.
I have been eating very regularly now. Mostly egg whites in the morning, like maybe one yolk and 3 or 4 egg whites. Because I found out that I was significantly under eating protein.
Mm-hmm.
And Yeah. So anyway, you got to be careful about
You
that.
got to add another meatball in like a month or something.
I mean, I have when I make a batch of meatballs, I freeze them, but I wouldn't eat them for breakfast.
No, not for breakfast.
No.
I don't eat a lot of protein for breakfast.
Just
Well, I guess
protein
I do
powder.
if I do the protein shake. Obviously, I do. But the other thing, I also eat breakfast bars. Those are very grainy, like oatmeal bars. I love oatmeal bars. Again, the things that are typically around 150 calories that are some kind of fortified. If something I could eat in the car on the way to work. That's basically my main criterion these days.
I've been going to Dunkin' Donuts to get a coffee, but I've also been getting their veggie bites. It's egg white and vegetable, which is it's a great source of protein, and it's low calorie. It's a great way to up your protein level intake.
Charlie Ross said, "Kiss my grits," and that made me. Where is that?
Kiss
from?
my grits.
Yeah, where's
Alice.
that from?
Alice.
There it is. Yes.
That was from that sitcom. That was back in the day when people from sitcoms had like their one-liner. Yeah, Flo.
Flo.
and it was funny every time she said it, and it was at least once per episode.
Keith said that egg whites are for dogs.
What?
I don't even know what the hell that means. What do you mean?
Egg whites.
You don't eat egg whites.
Awesome.
You only eat egg yolks. I mean,
egg whites are great. Yeah, he eats egg yellows.
So Steve and Bob, when I at some point over like maybe 2 or 3 months ago, I said something like, "I try not to eat a lot of egg yolks because I don't want the cholesterol," and you said
it doesn't increase your serum cholesterol.
So to explain this to me, like what when I look at the cholesterol number of food, if it's high, I try not to eat a lot of it.
But it's only certain kinds of cholesterol that are bad for you. It's animal cholesterol is bad for you.
Isn't an egg considered to be animal?
But it isn't. It's like meat cholesterol is bad, but the egg cholesterol is fine apparently. And fats you get from like walnuts and plants and stuff is all good.
Okay, so like
remember, there's good cholesterol and bad cholesterol, right? So if it's mainly HDL, like if it's fish, it's fine. If it's steak, it's not so good.
All right, so confirming, egg yolks, the cholesterol in egg yolks is not going to
increase your blood cholesterol.
Right. Just because you're eating cholesterol doesn't mean your cholesterol levels are going to go up.
Right. It's more complicated than that, right? Because
I wish I knew this like 30 years ago.
There's a homeostasis. So anyway.
The egg council got to Steve. Yeah, he's my big egg.
Yeah, shelling for big eggs.
Shelling for big eggs.
Shelling
for big egg. Yeah, I like. So when I eat hard-boiled eggs, I eat just the whites. I don't eat the yolks.
Yeah,
but I like yolks that are. I eat the yolks if they're cooked but not hard, right?
Yes.
So like over easy or sunny side up. Those are all great.
Yeah.
Or scrambled eggs are fine.
Yeah.
But just for some reason, when you get just a solid yolk ball, I hate.
It has to be cooked a little bit. You know how it cooks around the edges?
Yeah, it cooked a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's much better.
But deviled eggs good deviled eggs are awesome.
Yeah, but they're also terrible for you because you're basically eating a tablespoon of mayo in each one.
I don't like deviled eggs.
No, I'm not a deviled egg fan. That's a little...
I don't like mayo, and I don't like the egg yolks cooked that way. Yeah, so
and mayo basically is eggs.
And I'll tell you right now, if I could eat whatever I wanted to,
right?
Yeah,
I would eat bread and cheese probably half the time.
Bread and cheese is awesome.
I mean, you could. It just depends on what you're trying to go for.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm like, I'm
living and stuff.
If I were in my 20s, Ian, I would not be as afraid as I am right now. Like,
didn't you eat pizza in your 20s? I mean, I assume that's.
I did. I'm talking about like good stuff, like the real deal.
That's true. Yeah, Parmesan all day.
So did we report this when we went to Arthur Avenue, guys?
Go ahead.
Bob, Steve, and I grew up with a baker. A few miles from our house. The guy was from Italy, didn't speak a lot of English, and we got plain Italian bread and then sesame Italian bread from this baker.
Like every week, you would deliver a bag of bread to the house.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, and it was utterly fantastic, just unbelievably good. It blows away any bread that you would get in most supermarkets.
Oh, it blew away supermarket bread. It was Italian bakery bread,
and it was the one by North Street.
North Street, yeah. So I have never really had anything that matched that. And we went to Arthur Avenue and I saw this mega loaf of sesame Italian bread and I bought it and I ripped pieces off for everyone and we had it. And Bob, Steve, and I all agreed and confirmed.
Our pupils dilated. It was amazing.
Yeah. That was it. And I have a new bread goal, guys.
Duplicate that bread.
Duplicate that bread. So the thing that I hate
Yeah.
is like, I know where the place is that I bought it, and I know the people there know how to make it, and I simply want them to tell me.
Yeah, but they're not going to do
And
that.
they will never do it. And
Yeah.
it pisses me off because I'm not going to sell it.
But Jay, we have an Italian store near us on State Street, Liuzzi's, that has a sesame Italian bread, which is pretty damn close.
It's not as good though.
It's 95%.
That's okay.
It's good.
That's pretty,
right.
close.
And these guys are also like Italian accent Italian. I was talking to the cheese guy there because this is when, so after the pandemic, there was no sardo. Sardo is my favorite cheese. It comes from Argentina, Argentine sardo. And the term apparently is non-specific. They use it to mean any table cheese, whatever. So they had a cheese which they called Argentina Parmesan. And it was as close as you can get to Argentinian sardo as I've ever tasted. It was great. It was fantastic. But I was talking so that kind of, while sardo was not available for 2 years, like during the pandemic, that was my replacement for sardo. I was talking to the guy there about the cheeses that they sell, and this guy knew everything about cheese. This guy was like a cheese expert. It's amazing.
You would call him a connoisseur, Steve?
Well, he was in the business. You know what I mean? He worked at the store. Obviously, it was a family-run Italian store, and the guy just knew everything about cheese. You know,
that's awesome.
It's always fun to talk to people like that. So he was telling me about all the different kinds of
I would like to sit down with that guy and talk to him and try like 30 cheeses with him and just go for it with the questions.
Well, that's how he was the only one. Like I said, I want an Argentinian sardo. He first person I'd ever spoke to who worked at a cheese store who knew what that was. At other seriously, I've been to many cheese stores. No one ever knows what it is. They've never heard of it. They don't care. He's like, this is the closest thing we have to that. And he explained the whole terminology of it and everything. And he was absolutely correct. It was wonderful.
All right. So I want to crowdsource this.
Yeah. Of course, you pair that. You got to pair the sardo with the sesame Italian bread.
Yes, exactly.
Or Parmesan that we got. Yeah.
All right. How can I get the recipe out of this bread job? I want
to put on a mustache.
I know a lot of people are coming up with funny.
Say your name is
Is there a legit way? Like if I go in there and I said, "Look,
the crisp $100 bill,"
I'll just give them the total. Like, listen. I'm not going to sell it. I just want to make it at home, please.
I doubt it's that complicated from a recipe standpoint. It's just like the specifics of how they do it.
Listen to my words very carefully because this is painful for me to say this.
Yes.
I have watched every single YouTube video that there is making this bread, and every single time people say that they're making sesame Italian bread, it is not this bread.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, but also, what kind of oven do they have versus what you have? Maybe.
Well, I know that they're using an old school oven. Yeah. I'm 100% sure they're using either a wood, coal, or at the very least a pizza level oven.
Yeah, that's.
There's the ineffable magic that is they learn over time and is passed down in terms of little tweaks and tricks and whatever, like exactly how much water you drizzle on top and like whatever. Like there's all these little details matter. And that's kind of a hard thing to teach. You know, you'd have to work with them probably.
I would do it.
Yeah.
It's probably more worth your while to just go there and buy it.
Yeah.
As opposed to trying to learn it.
They'll say, just buy our bread.
There is an absolute pleasure.
I know.
In making bread, you know.
Pulling it out of the oven hot. Yeah.
Yeah. Damn. It's different level.
All right. Well, I guess nobody has any,
Well, a couple of people were asking what the difference is between Italian bread versus like French bread or something like that.
I can answer the question.
Go ahead. Yeah,
I can answer.
You know all that.
So there are things called pre-ferments.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Pre-ferment is basically it's what you use when you make bread. Not every bread, but basically like baguettes and Italian bread like this, lots of like rustic loaves and all this stuff. There's a lot of pre-ferments. So your starter, a bread starter is this. A bread starter is flour, water, and then
time.
And then the natural yeast that's in the air gets in there. You could also use store-bought yeast, but they're very, very, very similar in taste and everything. I've done a ton of research on this. Bottom line is your pre-ferment adds a ton of flavor to when you make bread because the yeast and the enzymes, when the pre-ferment is like 12, hours or even, 16 hours old, there is a ton of flavor that is delivered by that pre-ferment when you mix it in with all the fresh flour and water and salt and everything, right? So Italian breads usually use something called a biga, which is a type of pre-ferment. It's a less hydrated pre-ferment. And the type of pre-ferment that they use with like baguettes is not exactly the same. I can't remember the name. Now you can look it up, Ian.
The flour,
so
you said?
It's the pre-ferment. So pre-ferment for a baguette. So that will change the texture of the bread, the flavor profile of the bread. They also are prepared differently. A lot of it is similar, but at the end stage with baguettes, like you make them like tubular, and then you put them in a couche. It's a cloth.
A poolish.
Yeah, now a poolish is a pre-ferment that you make the night before that you use to start like store-bought yeast. You mix flour, water, and store-bought yeast, a couple of pinches of yeast, and that will bubble and expand and everything overnight, just like your starter would if you prepared it. And again, we're talking about the difference between two yeasts that are very, very similar to each other. The store-bought yeast versus the wild yeast. Now, there is a guy that has a museum of live yeast cultures that people use for bread. He collects them and feeds them and keeps them going. Oh my God, I can barely.
You're saying we have a yeast guy.
Yeah, and I've watched his videos, and man, he's got endless amounts of information about starters in general. Anyway, I will stop now because I will just keep going.
Yeah, Chad is freaking out because it's like sounds too good.
Someone asked about the wedding. Wedding was fantastic. We talked about it on the episode this week, so we won't go into too much. Just listen to this week's episode. But it was the short answer is it was excellent. Everything came off perfectly.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun. I liked it, like exactly for what Steve said. Like with Steve's daughter and her fiance. They just didn't care to use all the silly traditions and stuff that you see in a lot of weddings, like the standard wedding stuff that you see in the movies and all that garbage, stupid things that they say. And
they stripped out all the crap.
Yeah.
And George was in his pink jacket, very stylish. And they kept, it was just all the good stuff, all the, personal, individualized, meaningful stuff, without any of the things that you hate about weddings, basically.
Yeah, the ceremony was brief, right? I've sat in ceremonies for an hour and a half where you're like, oh my.
Well, but those are like in a church. Those are,
but they should let you drink before those ceremonies. Like
or during. I mean, they kind of do, but it's like a small little cup usually that you all share.
If you want to get COVID, go to church.
Roman Catholic Church. I think they stopped that actually during COVID and possibly afterwards.
This is nice from Facebook. When he said they were giving sex change to migrants, I nearly spat out my dog.
I mean, I think technically it is true, but it's like a weird thing to.
What is true?
That there are people in jail that were requesting HRT, who were, I think, migrants. And Kamala did say did say go on record that it was like, we're gonna allow it, but it's such an irrelevant and small number of people. It's like,
I know,
right. Dumb thing to bring up. I mean, but that's what it's.
Yeah, like this is some huge societal problem.
It's not like they're going in and forcing immigrants to trans themselves or whatever the fuck these things. Just dumb shit.
Visto Tutti said, "Did we see the spacewalk?" And
I saw.
Oh yeah, let's look
some summary of it. Yeah, I didn't watch it live. Or anything.
Yeah, I saw playback. Very interesting. That guy, that billionaire. I love these kind of success stories. A guy quit high school to start his business, got a $10,000 loan from his parents, and turned that $10,000 into a $1.7 billion company. Apparently, the guy had a really good idea, and he's probably very intelligent. And he spacewalked, and he was tethered to the ship, right? He had the oxygen tether, right? That line coming off of him is connected to the interior of the ship. So he wasn't free floating. That the suit that he's wearing does not have its own built-in oxygen.
He's got no tank on his back, so yeah.
And he said something very interesting. He essentially said, "I know that there's a lot of problems in the world, but from up here, it's pretty much perfect."
Yeah.
And it wasn't very poetic, but it was very astute. Yeah, it was an interesting thing. This is amazing what's happening here, guys. They're 480 miles above the surface of the Earth. They're in orbit, and they legit did the first spacewalk that wasn't funded by a government.
Oh, he was the first private citizen to do a spacewalk.
Yeah, but it was privately funded as well.
Oh yeah.
So it's really interesting to see where things are going now. I would be scared crapless if I had to even attempt to do something like that. It's just very.
It would be, yeah. I mean, I imagine it would be the most exciting and scary thing that you've ever done.
Especially a private one. I mean, geez.
But it's SpaceX. It's it's what NASA is using, right? It's not like some janky homemade spaceship.
No, it's legit. It's one of the best, if not the best.
It's not like the guy with the steam-powered rocket.
Yeah,
got himself up in the air and then.
And Boeing is like, Boeing is limping at this point. This company,
but they did return their capsule successfully.
Yeah, they did, but they just, they had a massive. There's a massive workforce strike right now, and they're arguing with them about what they're going to get paid and everything. So all their machinists, I think, was the group of people that they were, negotiating with, and the machinists are just like, we're not settling. We are not settling. We're just you give us what we want, or we're not coming back to work. Very scary situation.
I heard the capsule returned, but there were problems. The implication was that it would have been problematic if people were actually in it.
Yeah.
But
really, Bob? Like the extra weight would have caused a problem?
No, it had issues on the way back, but I don't know what would have happened if there were people in there, but there were problems.
I know that they changed its re-entry profile.
Yeah.
And it may not have been able to have people in it.
Right, just physically it would have been hard to have people in it.
But they had to do that for the, apparently like it being an engine down was very serious for that spacecraft. And then the two astronauts that are up at the International Space Station that got, basically stuck up there.
Yeah.
They have adjusted. They missed family stuff, which was, unfortunately, unpredictable that they were going to be caught up there, but they missed some family engagements. And then apparently one of them is going to be the captain of the International Space Station, which I think is interesting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess everyone is designated the captain, and it must just be a rotation as people come and go.
Yep. But we're seeing the beginning, guys, of the privatization of outer space, spacecraft, visitation. There's going to be hotels up there. There might be a freaking hotel on the moon. It's not impossible.
Or in low Earth orbit.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to see it in low Earth orbit. Like people are going to be able to pay for that at some point. I have a hard out at 6:00, just so you guys know. That's
okay.
Were we going to do some kind of quiz, like resurrect the old style quiz that you guys are doing, or trying to hear some chat about that?
Yeah, we were trying to get that off the ground, but we weren't able.
But no, okay.
But no, I can maybe find one of those like funny. Maybe we were talking about food. Maybe there's a food myth quiz.
I have a Nauticon update. If people want to hear.
Go ahead. Yeah, if you want to do that.
Yeah, so I have been, dealing with these hotels, and I've said this before. Like the salespeople are very, it's just
sketchy.
Difficult. Yeah. They are not available. They don't call you back right away. This is why the person that I worked with in Chicago was amazing. Amazing. And I'm doing virtual tours right now of the hotels, and there's phenomenally expensive hotels that I could get that are just so expensive that the ticket price would be crazy. Then the hotel that we can afford, I just don't like it. I don't like it. It doesn't have the setup. It doesn't have the things that I want the hotel to have. Like there has to be a good social space for everyone to mingle about. The atrium, which is the area that is outside of the main room, like the ballroom, is just, there's no seating. It's just, there's no place to hang out. It's like, very small space. Yeah. So, I'm floating it out there. Like, if we go back to White Plains, as much as I know people weren't like thrilled to go to White Plains, but if we do go back to White Plains, that hotel that we were in last time has been completely refurbished, which is nice. So I don't know. I'm just curious to know what you guys think. You know, I would really like to do it in DC, but it's going to be expensive.
Should we try our second choice, which is Philadelphia?
Yeah, I could start looking there. I didn't put any time into that yet. I did.
If DC is crapping out, let's try.
Yeah, I can look. Anyway, so yeah, that's where I'm at. I have I might be going on Tuesday down to DC to do a site survey, just to get my eyes on it. I might feel differently than the pictures. You know, and I have to visit any hotel that we do an event this big at, because I got to check it out. You know, I got to be there in person. You know, when I go, I actually see the rooms too, like the hotel rooms. I want to see what they're all about as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah.
Yes, it's Kamala, not Kamala. That's right.
Kambala, but Kambala.
Okay, we do have a food quiz. Before we do that, do you guys know any food myths off the top of your head? Think of.
Yes, I do.
Oh, go ahead, Bob.
That you could live off of honey.
Yeah.
That's one.
It's a very good callback. Thank you for that. Do you guys know the history of kimchi?
Yeah.
Or at least the supposed history?
Kimchi.
Why and how it came to exist? Do you know any of that?
Somebody left some food out. I think my assumption has always been that any fermented kind of food was initially an accident.
Yeah.
You know, you left.
That almost certainly is true.
Yeah.
They're like, I'll eat it.
Yeah, it's like, do I starve or eat this, rotting clump of food? It's like, okay, yeah, this is a little bit tangy. It's not too bad. And I didn't die, so this is like, you can eat this old food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baked potato has pretty much that's a myth. Oh, apparently that has every mineral you need. Yeah, that's probably not every vitamin or mineral you need. But
it's pretty close though. It's the closest you can come to a single food that is pretty well rounded.
Yeah. So there's a history,
nothing has everything.
Yeah, there's a history of kimchi that apparently it was developed when the Japanese invaded, and so it was like a method of storing their food that the Japanese couldn't immediately burn down or destroy or whatever. That's the myth. Apparently kimchi has existed in Korea for like hundreds of years prior to that.
Yeah.
But it's a pervasive one. But anyway, let's go to the quiz. If anybody in chat knows some other myths, let us know. So where did Cinnabons originate?
Wow.
Cinnabons or just cinnamon buns?
Good point. Buns. I did say Cinnabons. I meant cinnamon buns.
Yeah,
yes.
Cinnamon buns, not the brand.
Not the brand. Not Cinnabons. The brand.
I don't know. Where's cinnamon very common?
That's right. Yeah.
That's
a good question. And which type of cinnamon? Because there are, I think, two, like Ceylon, and there's another one.
I would guess Sweden, just because it's kind of like a pastry, like that part of the world.
Right. Could have been spices from, colonial exploits brought to the old world. What do you guys think, Jay? Any
France.
France. Okay, France. That is not an option. Bob, any?
I'll say the United States.
You say the United States. Okay, let me go with Sweden first. It was Sweden. IKEA fans were sure you aced this question. Sweden is a part of daily life. Who's living in Sweden? Do we know anybody in Sweden? Oh yeah, Olivia, of course, was like Sweden. Although she's in Switzerland. Okay, chop suey. Where did this originate?
China, I mean, you want to say China, right? But I bet you it's probably the United States.
Mongolia.
Just like, well, yeah, it could be Mongolia or Micronesia. I'm going to say the United States.
Okay.
I guess.
Bob, what do you think?
Mongolia.
Jay?
I just think it was China.
China? Okay, I'll go with Mongolia first. Nope, it was the United States. Chop suey is a Chinese-American creation that roughly translates to assorted, mixed, or miscellaneous leftovers. Yeah. Although I guess it's Chinese-American. I was like, if it's an American, how'd they know?
Well, it's chicken tikka masala. It was made in England,
Right, that's true.
Same kind of thing.
So I was kind of correct, because it was made by Chinese immigrants.
That's true, but not.
I was incorrect, though.
You were incorrect.
I don't mind being
kind of correct in that you were wrong.
I don't mind being wrong.
So borscht.
Romania.
Or are we going
say
with,
Ukraine?
Ukraine for
it's either that or Ukraine.
Bob?
It's one of those two.
Bob?
Let's say Ukraine.
Let's go Ukraine. It is Ukraine.
Yep.
Very nice.
Wheat dish. It's the national dish of Ukraine. I didn't know that. So
Okay. Well, there you go.
Belonging to Borshev, whatever. How do you pronounce that? Belonging to Borscht. Okay. Their name. Oh, so there's a city named after Borscht. That's interesting. Borschiv. French fries.
France.
I think it's France.
United States.
Common. United States. Canada?
Canada's interesting.
Yeah, it might be. Or Belgium, maybe even.
You telling me that people all around the world didn't end up frying potato? I mean, come on.
I mean, in stick format. I mean, the Canadians did put squeaky cheese and meat sauce on it and call it poutine.
All right, just to be different, I'll say Canada.
Okay. I'll go with Canada first. Oh, it was Belgium.
Nice.
Belgium. French fries is a misnomer. Fries or frites originated in Belgium.
Oh, what movie is this from?
Oh,
French fries or pommes frites?
Oh, that's I know the one with the McCheese. You know what they call a thing in France? No, right? Isn't it a Pulp Fiction?
Nope.
Damn. Usa. Chat. What's that quote from? Come on, you got it. 4-0.
So it was about time travel. Is a big hint. Some time travel happening in the movie. Some British guy in the United States eating French fries at McDougal's. You know that Scottish place, McDougal's, and he's eating French fries, and he's like, "Oh, French fries are pommes frites."
A Royale with cheese. That's what I was trying to say. Pulp Fiction, but it's not Pulp Fiction. It sounds like
Time After Time, which is about Jack the Ripper and the guy who wrote The Time Machine.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Was it the guy from Clockwork Orange?
Yes. There we go.
Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah. That's it.
Time After Time. Interesting.
Good movie.
That was a good movie.
All right, back to the quiz. Ceviche originated in, I know this one, so I'm not going to answer.
Peru?
Ceviche. Yeah, I'd say Peru.
Peru? Bob?
I'm going to go with whatever you think it is, Ian.
Okay, perfect. Peru. This is what turned me into a pescatarian, because when we went to Peru and we were vegetarians, and there was like the only
H.G. Wells,
ceviche, and I was like, okay. And it's pretty awesome. Peruvian ceviche is dope. So yeah, it's, marinated in acidic lime, blah, 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 blah. Obviously, Steve would not like it, but...
Did it taste fishy?
No. It tastes very, refreshing, not oceanic, it's like so much lime and ginger and herbs that you don't really notice.
You don't notice.
I don't. That's true.
Yeah.
But
you can't.
The fish wasn't weird. They say it cooks, quote unquote. You know what I mean? But it's
pretty much 100% of the time that people tell me it doesn't taste fishy, it tastes fishy.
Yeah, because we don't have the receptors that you do.
Well, yeah. When I think fishy, I think like fish sauce.
Come on, Caesar salad, please.
Epic.
That's from Mexico.
That's true.
From Caesar was the name of the guy who had a restaurant.
Yeah, right.
And the story goes that he, was after hours. There were some celebs there. They wanted some food. He went to the kitchen and threw together whatever was there.
Isn't that what they say about nachos too? Like that's how nachos were born. Like he cut up tortillas and fried them, and it's like the only thing left, and put some stuff on it.
And by the way, the original Caesar salad recipe, I learned this recently because it was just like the 100th anniversary or something of Caesar salad recently. Wow. It was made with lime juice, not lemon juice.
Oh, interesting.
That would be good.
Oh,
so
really?
I made it with lime juice, and it was good. Although my wife said she prefers the lemon juice.
Yeah,
but it's good. Whatever.
Nutella is the Netherlands, Ian.
Netherlands,
no.
UAE, Colombia, or Italy?
I thought it was England, but I'll say the Netherlands.
Bob?
Netherlands.
Oh, Italy. What are you doing?
I always thought that Nutella was England because they ran out of chocolate, so they had to make it out of.
Oh, right.
Like a chocolate substitute, so they made it out of.
Yeah, Nutella is not equal to peanut butter.
Made out of hazelnuts, right?
I had to tell my kids. Yeah, there's hazelnuts in there, but it's basically chocolet spread.
Yeah, made by Pietro Ferrero.
It's a faux chocolate spread for World War II, right?
Yes, maybe. Originally, the idea came about a way to feed factory workers something sweet and affordable. As part of their lunch, back in the 1960s, it was introduced in the shape of a loaf to be sliced and placed on bread. So
one more for me, and I
64.
got to go.
All right. Yeah, one more, and then we'll call it.
Fajitas.
Fajita. I mean,
Um,
Mexico, no?
Yeah, although the thing is, like, it could be Tex-Mex. The thing
Yeah.
is, there's parts of the United States that were Mexico. You know what
That's
I mean?
true.
Like
All right,
the-
I'm going to say Mexico, United States.
Okay, I'm trying to click in between, but I can't.
All right, if I have to pick between the two, I'll pick the United
the
States.
thing is, it's so obviously Mexico that probably the answer is the United States.
Right. All right, let's go. Boom. It'd be funny if it
Yeah.
was South Africa.
Yes,
Yeah, Rio, Rio Grande Valley, Texas.
Yeah, a part of America that was Mexico.
Apple pie, polenta, Hawaiian pizza.
Polenta's
Probably
Italian,
not
isn't
in
it?
Hawaii. All right, let's do it quick. Speed round. Apple pie, where?
United States.
Yeah, United States.
Ireland.
No, England.
Land.
It was England. Whoever says it first.
I was lied to.
Polenta originated.
Italy.
Italy. Very good.
Venezuela.
Hawaiian pizza. Wait, from where?
U.S.
I actually know this.
Canada.
Oh, it's Canada.
It's Canada, yeah.
It's Canada, yeah.
It's a Greek immigrant, actually, from Ontario, Canada. Sam Papadopoulos. No, Panopolis.
Panopolis.
Yeah. Tempura.
Well, it's Japanese, but
Spain.
Japan.
Spain.
Portugal.
Actually. Interesting. That's interesting. Coffee? That's interesting. That's weird.
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia? Very good, Bob.
Okay.
Ethiopia, yeah. You would
Either
think.
that or someplace in South America.
California
No,
rolls.
it's Ethiopia.
That's the
California
United States.
rolls.
You think?
United States for
Japan.
Canada.
Japan.
Fiji.
It was Canada.
Nice, Ian.
Yeah, there you go. All right,
well, not bad.
Kind of did it. 6 out of 13. Oof, a little low.
Hey, it's tough, Hey, guys, have a great
Yeah.
weekend. I will see you guys on Wednesday.
That's right. More Wednesday.
See you next Wednesday.
Somebody asked us. There's a post on the Reddit I will acknowledge about what's next for the SGU, and a couple of people were asking why not use the social media platforms that you're already popular on. And that's all interesting information. And
what does that mean?
Taking it under advisement. I think YouTube, they're saying but the TikToks you're not super popular on. It's yeah, we're not. But
we're working on it. We've had
I've
got over 500,000 on some of my.
Yeah, a couple of things blew up,
and we do put out YouTube videos.
Right. That's the thing that we're we'll read that post, by the way. There's a lot of interesting suggestions that people have been talking about, the future of the SGU and what other things that we could do.
Yeah, give us
more suggestions.
Reddit had a big post on what we should do next.
Yeah, we love all that stuff.
We will take it all under advisement.
That's right, and
because we are definitely looking to expand what we're doing,
100%.
And we're for reasons that we can't discuss. They're definitely going to be expanding our social media output. And so we will be hitting up our audience for, especially there's one specific thing that we're going to be doing in the next probably 3 or 4 months. And that is producing some major new content for patrons to increase our the number of patrons that we have. And so the question is, what should that be? What do you think most SGU listeners would become, say, a $5 patron in order to get? What kind of content?
Yeah, the way to answer that question is to tell us what you would like.
Yeah. So especially if you're not a patron, you're saying, if you guys gave me this, I would become a $5 patron for that.
Oh, they'll say more watermelon incidents.
Yeah.
Okay. No.
We can do that.
There's a level. There's one spot for $1,000 a month for watermelon. You can go ahead. I dare you to sign up. You won't. And then I'll message you every day. If you want, I'll message you good morning and good night. Skeptical Gaming on Twitch. If these guys would dedicate some gaming time all together or even separately, I will set that up. And we
game. It would be cool to run a campaign, like a skeptically themed campaign.
Yeah, we could do a
on Twitch
thing on Twitch. We could totally.
I want the three of us and Evan to play Fortnite together on Twitch.
Oh my God, Fortnite. Okay, fine.
Okay.
Does he even play FPSs?
Yeah, I'll play it. We'll do it.
Okay.
All right. Goodbye. Good night. So long. Have a weekend.
So long,
good night, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye. Where's the
Call bye.
Skeptic's Guide to the Universe is produced by SGU Productions. dedicated to promoting science and critical thinking. For more information, visit us at theskepticsguide.org. Send your questions to info@theskepticsguide.org. And if you would like to support the show and all the work that we do, go to patreon.com/skepticsguide and consider becoming a patron and becoming part of the SGU community. Our listeners and supporters are what make SGU possible.
What are you guys doing here? The movie's over. Go home. Shoo. It's not a word for word. Let me see. The ending script. Right? He says something. He says that at the end. Right? A fair. You know what it is. I gave it away. All right. That's it. So yeah, go ahead and go and funny. Go ahead and do the suggestions in the Discord under the membership channel, and then you can also fill out some more information on that SGU Reddit post if you would enjoy some other stuff from the SGU. You know, we would like some suggestions and all that stuff. Sausage King of Chicago. Are you wearing a bathrobe? Sure. Whatever you want, Lou, for you. Why? Why not? We can't see you. You're an attractive poolish, the dough fermented thing that you. Yes. Actually, there's a place that I got some pierogies from the Polish deli. They're fantastic. And also there's these crackers, which I don't remember. They're like bageltoka, I think it is, Polish cracker cookie. What is it called? I don't know. It starts with a BAGEL, and it's like a raisin cookie. Somebody who's Polish in the chat, do you know? It's not bageltopia. It's like bageltolka or something. Bageltolka. Whatever. They're good. You should get them. Order them from them anyway. How do I get a green name? Oh, so yes. So there's a couple ways. On YouTube. Well, there's only one way actually. I think on YouTube, if your name is in green, then you have to become a member on the YouTube channel. Go ahead and you can click that and become a member. If it's blue, then you're a mod actually. And then on Twitch, I'm gonna open it up. Just a little precursor. Open up the subs on Twitch so that if you have an Amazon Prime, you know, I'll put emotes and some other fun stuff and badges and stuff like that. But if you have an Amazon Prime, you get an automatic free subscription that you can spend on anybody, like on the SGU. So like if it's just sitting there and you want to give the SGU a couple more bucks that you don't have to pay for because it like automatically you get it for free, then you could do that. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay. So basic, because Twitch is owned by Amazon, so they give you a free one. Twitch exists. Yes, Twitch exists. Okay. The Skeptic's Guide live. This is the end. Did I miss the stream or y'all just starting? We just ended. So sorry. It's not a bagel. I forget what it's called. Pierogi. No S in the end. Pierogi. Well, in America, it's pierogies. Okay. Because we don't call them pierogos or whatever. A pierogi is already plural. Pierogus. After Hours with Ian. Hell yeah. What other stuff have you been working on? Oh, so this is for patrons, the 1000th episode. I just finished editing the video, so it's exporting as we don't speak because I didn't actually export it. Will be exporting as we speak. I finished editing it, and I'll be uploading it ASAP. And anybody else who wants to watch the video, it'll be available on Patreon if you're a patron, and then eventually we might release it out to the to the world. That's it. All right. Thanks, everybody. We will see you next Wednesday. Remember, Wednesday we go live like at 12:30 or 1. We try to, it's all dependent on Steve's schedule. And I canceled Prime when they did the pay us more for no ads thing. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's for the Prime Video. Yeah. Yeah, that is annoying. I know, I don't get it. But it's like the 2-day thing is still... Pirogue is singular. Pierogi is plural. Okay. Ain't nobody in America, okay, where English originated, it started, is going to say pirogue. Thank you so much for your time, and coming to my TED Talk. That's it. I think that's it. Any other questions before I go? You know what? I didn't look at Discord a single time. I'm so sorry, Discord. I'm so sorry for not even looking at your questions. I'm sure you had some in the live stream. Let me just say hello. Hello. Thank you. Love it. The edited video is the full thing minus like intermissions and breaks, and I fixed the audio and the video when it like glitched out for the stream, and like the double speak audio, I hope. But yeah, actually I gotta double check on that now that I just said that. But I'm pretty sure it's all done. You sound like Willy Wonka just now. Thank you. Good day, sir. Okay, that's it. We get this as a Patreon thing, but you don't even check. I checked. I just checked. Okay? You've just been checked. Okay? Get checked. Hold on, let me check you. I'm gonna freaking watch you get checked right now. Check. There you go. You can't see what I'm doing, YouTube, but you got checked. And there, check yourself. Ian is stalling because he has. Yeah, that's true. I'm trying to avoid the thing. But also, did we pin any messages? Let's see if there's any. Aha! There's no questions pinned. No questions pinned. So there you go. So there, you didn't ask any interesting questions. How about that? Thank you. But also thank you, patrons, and we love you all. Okay. Goodbye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.